Hello everyone, I am Shubhodip. Today I will talk about two important topics of macroeconomics. We'll talk about unemployment rate and inflation rate. We'll start with unemployment rate. Before explaining unemployment rate, I need to tell you about something. It's labor force. So what is labor force? Labor force means the people who can work. We include physically fit people in the labor force. People who are younger than 63 and older than 16 are in the labor force. And students, disabled and housewives are out of the labor force. The labor force includes both the employed and the unemployed. So what is unemployment? Suppose you are active and in the labor force, but you are not able to get any work. The situation you are in is called being unemployed. Now, how do you find the unemployment rate? We can find the unemployment rate by a simple equation. If we divide the number of people who are unemployed by the number of people who are in the labor force and multiply it with 100, we get the percentage of people who are unemployed. Let us now solve a simple math problem. Here in math problem 1, in a country the total labor force is 50 million people. Out of them 46 million are employed and the rest are unemployed. Calculate the unemployment rate. So we know our formula, which is unemployment rate is equal to unemployed by labor force multiplying with 100. Here the number of people who are unemployed is not given, so we have to find it out. If we subtract the number of people who are employed from the labor force, we get the number of people who are unemployed. Then we'll divide it by the labor force and multiply with 100. Then we get the percentage which is 8%. Now we are done with unemployment rate. So we will move further on inflation. Before talking about inflation, we need to talk about price and price level and consumer price index. So what is price and price level? So what is price and price level? If you think about the word price, it means a value of a singular good. So it can be the price of apples, price of oranges, or price of a book. It can be different things. But the word price level is different. Price levels means the average prices of goods and service in the economy. Let's talk about consumer price index. Suppose fruits and vegetables. These are similar type of products. And coffee and tea. These are also a similar type of products. We can call them a basket of goods. Consumer price index measures changes over the time in prices of fixed basket of goods and services purchased by a typical household. So what does it mean? CPI actually measures the increase of these prices of these similar kind of goods and services, which are typically purchased by a home. Now, how do we measure the inflation rate? To measure the inflation rate, we need CPI. CPI of the current year and CPI of the past year. Here in the equation, we see that inflation rate equals to CPI T minus CPI T minus 1. Here CPI T means CPI of the current year and CPI T minus 1 means CPI of the past year. If you divide them by CPI T minus 1, meaning CPI of the past year, we get the inflation rate. Now let's solve a math problem on inflation rate. Here in math problem 2, we can see that the consumer price index CPI of a country was 120 in 2022, which increased to 132 in 2023. We have to find out the inflation rate between these years. So in this solution, we can say that the CPI of year 2022 is 120 and the CPI of the year 2023 is 132. we know our equation for the inflation rate, which is inflation rate is equal to CPI T minus CPI T minus 1 by CPI T minus 1. Here CPI T is 132 and CPI T minus 1 is 120. If you put our numbers, the inflation rate comes out as 0.1.